Hey guys, glad you're here. It's been 2 years since I played Doki Literature Club, and with help from Connor Ortiz's cousin, Theodore Rapiste, and his extreme therapy, I've purged all traces of her from my mind.
Tell me, Ben, what do you see when you look at this ink blotch? Monica? I was afraid of that. Time to up the voltage.
No. Now I'm cured. I no longer think about her. I no longer think or care about any of them. In fact, nothing short of a physical release would ever make me consider going back to that world. Doki Literature Club Plus released digitally on June 30th, 2021 for $15, and after being delayed for months, released physically on October 8th for $30. I'm a fan of collecting physical media because I had to collect something, and I can only find so many skulls in the woods without expediting the process. So video games it was, and a $15 price hike was definitely worth it when you get a bunch of useless goodies packed in. So we open the box and we get, I guess, the developer of the game's business card. I respect the hustle, dude, but I don't got any work for you. A blank member card that I refuse to sully. A code for the soundtrack that I'm not showing here. A vinyl sticker sheet that I'll never use. A special poem written by no one special. And 4 little standees of the girls in chibi form. But again, not going to touch it. I'm a fan of physical media, so I'm not allowed to touch any of this stuff. Instead, I have to safely pack it in here and never use it. Much like the Yu-Gi-Oh cards in Legacy of the Duelist. I don't even know what the other 2 cards are. Now, I was curious about the ports because of the way the game works. You have to go into the game's folders and actually delete files, something that can only be accomplished on a computer. But Team Salvado is one step ahead and have you covered. They built a whole virtual desktop that the game places you in whenever you quit the main game. There's stuff to explore, but we'll get to that later. First, we have to play the game again. Sometime after the first video, I learned there's a perfect ending that could be achieved, so I set off for that. The way you do it is you have to write 3 poems for the same girl. So say you write all 3 poems for Sayori, then before her death, reload and write all 3 poems for, say, Yuri. Then reload one last time and write all 3 poems for Natsuki. Then you'll have written every poem for every girl. I think you also have to spend the weekend with both Yuri and Natsuki, and also pick each different option whenever a choice comes up. But I'm not sure about that. I did them all just to make sure. It's quick if you have skip scene text on. After you've done them all, you can play like normal, and the game continues completely unchanged until after that monster gets deleted. Sayori is alive and has omnipotence, and instead of being insane, she's thankful to you for seeing everyone's story. The game ends with a nice note from Dan Salvado, the sole developer of the original game. Thank you, Dan. But we're moving on. We have all these tabs to explore. We have to move on. You have to do the main story to unlock the side stories. They're prequels to the game and show all the girls joined the club and became friends. They're cutesy and I'll go over them in a bit. We also have files, where you can delete that Temptress and reset the game. Most folders are empty, but there are a few accessible ones, and that's where the game changes completely. This isn't just any old desktop. It's the desktop of an employee of the company that made Doki. Again, I'll go over that in a bit. Even more of the files can only be accessed at certain minutes of the day. As I'm a glutton for content, I changed my clock to read every single one of these files before realizing they'd all been compiled online and were much easier to read there. Then email, where you can read correspondence between office personnel and you unlock more as you complete more of the game. Pictures, where you can see a gallery of every photo you unlocked. Some of them are easy to unlock, and you'll have to unlock at least some of them by going through the story. Some of them are more difficult, like not pressing skip the whole time Yuri was laying dead on the floor. To get that one, it's relatively easy on PC. You can just download an auto clicker. On consoles, you can hit auto, and it'll take like an hour. But I found a way to bypass it quickly. Every time you save and quit, it'll skip ahead to the next time the light changes. So do it 9 times, and it counts towards getting this picture in under, I don't know, 5 minutes? I wasn't timing it. I do know it beats the supposed hour you'd have to auto through it, or heavens forbid, click through it. You can also set one of the photos as your background. I chose the girls all smiling together. There's the music tab where you can listen to the music you've unlocked, make playlist, and that's about it. And of course, good old settings where you can check data you've collected and mess with settings. Now, the side stories are super cute. I have my favorite, but I'm not going to say which one. I also have a favorite picture from the game, but I'm not going to talk about that either. And I'm going to casually mention that all characters in this game are 18. The side story set up the events of the game in a nice way. It made the characters seem more like people and less like a loose collection of traits. The only weird thing is that one particular girl, who will go unnamed, doesn't seem to know that she's in the game yet. I don't know why. What I do now know is I have a lot in common with these girls, and none of it is good. Why did you make me realize this, Dan Salvado? Why did you make me realize this? Now for the meta part. What we thought was a game, the DDLC, was actually an experiment by a task force team of employees for a company called Metaverse Enterprise Solutions. They're running 2 programs called VMs. Quick side note that wasn't in the script. VM stands for Virtual Machine. VM1 is a small-scale universe, which is the Doki Doki universe, but there are multiple versions. One where Nameless Girl doesn't know she's in a game, and one where she does. It's thought we never get to see the game following the prequels where she doesn't know, because the main character is created by the one who did know. With no main character, there's no game. It's just reading. And reading is for books, and books are for nerds. Then we have VM2. It's a medium-scale universe, but it's currently only known as the Test VM, which is unlocked after 100%ing the game. It's a broken mess that only spits out a few words before it stops being any use. It's theorized as Dan Salvadore's next game, only called Project Libitina at this time. I don't know why, but I'm still bothered by the name Eye of Blaster. The business card! I sure am glad I didn't shred it like everything else I don't need. The business card was indeed an intended goodie. It contains an email, phone number, and a website. I tried emailing them, and got a delivery incomplete, and the phone number didn't seem to exist, but a website does. And they put a lot of work in making a real website that serves no purpose other than to expand the lore. It's amazing! It's reminiscent of what Portal did by giving out Cave Johnson's credentials if you manage to find Ratman's dens. Though a lot of the Metaverse website is broken, such as the jobs, Investor Portal, and context them leads to a bad gateway. But that makes sense, you'd have to set up a ton more stuff, and people unfamiliar with the game might try and get a job or invest, and it's better just to nip that stuff in the bud. So yeah, that's Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. You know, it's strange. After seeing them in their side stories without the intervention of a main character, and seeing them put through virtual turmoil over and over and over again by a company just for their experiments, I feel bad for them. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, they're all victims of a higher power. A power that corrupted her. Which means she's not to blame. I owe you an apology, Monica. Good news, Ben. I heard you mutter her name again. Put the collar back on. Let's get to therapizing. Ben? Theodore, I'm glad you're here. I think I've got it all figured out. Okay, so there are two Monicas, right? Two different virtual reality Monicas. Okay, this one has VM2 and higher permission. So if she gets that information from VM2 and higher permission, it will lead her to kill the other club member. But then we have the control room Monica. No, not again! I think I've got it all figured out. Okay, so higher permission is why she killed the other girls. But in the control group, she doesn't kill the other girls. In fact, she has a Twitter account where she posts various images. Like images like this. But whose hand is this? It can't be his. Because he doesn't exist in the control group. Because she can't make him. And then in the one where she gets higher permission, she never goes. And she never leaves the club room, so that can't be him. And then we have this girl. Who is she? Is she connected to the Portrait of Markov? Is the Portrait of Markov connected to Metaverse? Is the Portrait of Markov Project Libitina? I don't know. But then we got Parfait Girls, which is about Suki. Parfait Girls is about 4 cute anime teens or something. I don't know. And then Monica sings a song called Hidden Reality. How did they give her a voice? They gave her an actual voice. I don't see how that happened. And then we got Eye Blaster. He's part of Metaverse Enterprise Solutions. But he goes on tangents in the meetings, but then he never finishes talking about it? I don't know. So he has a shift in personality. He goes from being, haha, it's so funny, she has a Twitter account, to being like, yeah guys, I think I'm gonna be gone for the week. I don't know. So what's going on there? Who is this? How did Monica make him? Who is in this photo? I don't know. And I'm gonna find out.